Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. About 3 o'clock, June 10th, Monday, about 68 degrees. So, I got the oil changed in the pickup truck, and I used a couple of zip ties to straighten the radiator mount out. I checked for where the lower radiator mount should be that would lift the radiator up into position and hold it up against the upper radiator mount. It didn't exist anymore. It rusted away. So this truck is turning into a pisser mobile from upstate. So the truck is done. Just to let you know, a little rain must fall. It didn't rain for the oil change, but when I got underneath to grease it, it rained. Yeah, I got wet. Homie don't like that kind. Homie don't like to get wet. So anyway, $300 later, I mean, 2 flywheels, and a whole bunch of Red Death and everything else I put into this rig, I finally got spark. And I could show you guys spark. I think I could show it to you. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. Wait a minute. Let me steady my hand a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Come on. So, we have spark. Once again, $300, 2 flywheels and everything else later. One always tries to figure out, kind of, especially when you have a basket case like this, where's the problem? What created this mess? Obviously, something got loose inside the engine, and it destroyed the flywheel. Right? I showed you guys this. How the flywheel was all damaged inside. Right? You guys could see how it's all scarred up. Then I bought this flywheel, but it was the wrong kind. So I bought the right flywheel and got it put together. I have the feeling this bike was brought to a shop. The story on this bike was I bought it upstate from a couple of kids that didn't seem to have a lot of ambition. And they indicated that they got it from a shop in Fonda, New York. Fonda, Fonda, New York. This is the one I traveled up to Saratoga to go get, near Saratoga. So they indicated they got it from the shop. I have the feeling the shop, somebody brought it in, perhaps locked up. The shop opened it up so that there was some crap wedged in the flywheel. Took it apart, got the crap out of the flywheel, got the stator loose, saw the stator was damaged, but hoped for the best. Right, you guys could see all that nice damage there, all that carnage. I think they, once again, hoped for the best, put it back together, and when there was no spark, the bike became available for the 2 characters to buy who ended up with it, that I got it from. That's what I think the story is. It appears as if both side cases and the head, the top head here was taken off. I'm not thinking, from the looks of the bolts, that the jug was taken apart or the rest of the block by the transmission was taken apart. I don't think so. Anyway, one takes a chance putting together only the part of the engine that requires the repair to spark in this case, right? The only part of the engine I took apart was the side with the primary ignition coil, the stator, right? I did not mess with this clutch side. And that's a chance, right? Because the clowns who worked on this bike might not have known what they were up to. But as near as I could tell, I kind of have a feeling that they did know what they were up to. And the reason why I'm going to say that is, though it had Red Death on it, they didn't overdo the Red Death. It wasn't like all gobbed up inside the case. That takes a little practice. The second thing that makes me think they had a little bit of an idea of what they were up to is if you go to the book and you look, there's some thrust washers that they did not lose. This washer here that goes underneath the bearing and up against the roller bearings. These are kind of needle bearings, and then the main bearing is a roller bearing. The main shaft bearing is a roller bearing. These needle bearings are for the two-way clutch. So that washer was there. It did not get lost. The second washer that was there, let's see if I can find this quickly. There's a washer that goes on the end of this. There's a better picture in here somewhere. That was there also. It did not get lost. And normally, when you have clowns working on bikes, the first thing they do is lose these thrust washers. See on the end of this gear here, I think you guys could see it. There's a washer. As a matter of fact, if I go to the yeah, you see it right here? That washer right there. That did not get lost either. Nor was it just, or you can see it here too. That washer was there. So, you know, just because they were able to get the thrust washers back into place and not lose them, I'm hoping if they took enough care not to lose those thrust washers, they also took enough care to put this thing together properly. So, what's left to do? Obviously, I gotta rig up a gas tank. I did put the choke on. One can see it here, and that was a real joy. It turns out I was having a tough time. If you guys are familiar with a plunger on spring situation, here's the one I took off. I actually had to shorten this a little bit. I had to grind it back. I don't know, probably an 1/8 inch, give or take. I had to do that to be able to put the spring and get the whole thing put together, but it appears as if I got a pretty nice functional choke now, which is a good thing. So the choke plunger is in. It's put together. I put a quart of oil in it just to see if it's going to pee all over the floor. It's been in there for a few minutes, and I've cranked it a few times. I kind of need to get some oil throughout this engine. Obviously, from taking it apart and doing all the screwing around I did, there's no oil in the engine. So I've done that. I'm probably going to crank it another few times. When I put it together, you know, I followed the torque specifications, particularly for the flywheel. Basically, 80 foot-pounds. Got my little, you know, I used the beam type. The drill there, the 18-volt drill, I set the clutch on real weak, and basically, you know, you can stop it with your fingers, and that makes it easier to put all those side cover bolts in. For putting 80 foot-pounds of torque on the flywheel, you know, it's kind of hard because, right, the flywheel wants to turn. What I did was I wrapped a strap around it like this and tied the strap to the frame, and then as you tighten the flywheel, the flywheel tightens up against the strap so the flywheel doesn't spin, and that allows you to tighten the flywheel up. So those are really the only tricks I used. Obviously, I have spark now, so it's a matter of just putting a little petroleum to the carburetor, and she should fire up and run. And then I get to find out what other trouble I'm in. So I'm off to go fetch up a gas tank and a little piece of hose and see if we can get this running. We'll try not to burn down the garage because, it's real smart to be playing with, electrical stuff and gasoline and all that. And what's right behind me? My hoard of propane. Real rocket scientist, eh? Yeah, I might get to go to the moon. Alright, folks. One other quick thing before I say goodbye. I took the air cleaner off to put that on, and it smells like mouse piss in here, which is truly a real joy. I just love the smell of mice and mouse piss. So, if anybody has an idea how I could get the smell of mouse piss out of my tube, I really don't. Well, I guess there's an air filter between the carburetor and the mouse piss, but still, even with that, stuff is acidic and all. I'm not sure it's the best thing for an engine to breathe. Alright, folks, live, love, and have a great time. We'll catch you on the next episode of The Horde, and hopefully in that episode you hear this thing running. Thanks for watching, subscribing, and commenting. Love the comments. Take care, folks.